And you know what my favorite movie is?
What's your favorite movie?
The Oscar.
Oh,
It's not. You bet your ass it is. That has got some of the best writing in it.
Oh,
One of the crappiest films of all time.
It was written by Harlan Ellison in the mid-'60s. Stars Stephen Boyd, Tony Bennett, Elkie Summer.
Claudia Cardinal.
Milton Berle shows up in it.
Yes, he does.
It has some of the greatest dialogue ever written. You know how you read a book and you read some dialogue and you say it sounds great, and then you read it out loud and it sounds like absolutely terrible? That's exactly what this movie is.
I don't know what the hell you're gibbering about.
You go after what you want, and in some men it's admirable. In you, it's unclean.
And you got a glass head, I can see right through it. That's how I know you're stupid. Make my head hurt with all that poetry.
Oh, you should put that speech on tape.
Hello, Chicago, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Got a drink to that?
Welcome to Alternate Reality.
But it's pretty close. It's a pretty terrible movie.
It's pretty tight.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome to the Alternate Reality. It's Oscar time. Couple episodes back, we did whining about the nominations. That is not this episode. This is the episode where JR.
Hello.
And Bo.
Hello.
Oh, and Rod Flash is here too.
Hi, Rod.
Hey. Rod Flash will be here playing the Academy-nominated songs.
Somewhere
in the background as we do the show. We'll be doing their Oscar picks. Now, these Oscar picks you can find on the store's website.
Yes, sir.
MyAlternateReality.com. Along with Vito Carley's picks. So the three of them.
I didn't read his.
Vito, well, you haven't read any of them yet because I haven't posted yet.
Well, get to work. Fuck off.
It's ready. No, it's ready. I purposely have not posted it yet because I didn't want either of you to read them.
Oh, I see.
It's been done since like 3 o'clock today.
Oh, okay.
But Vito Carley's reviews are on there as well. His picks, I should say, are on there as well. So between the three of them, there's 22 categories, and there's 50 picks on there from each one, from all you guys.
Where are your picks?
With his guitar.
Oh.
Now, he's got guitar picks. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to go through each of the nominations. I'm going to, like we did with bitching about the nominations, I'm going to read off what the nominations are, and then you two can go at it. Okay, as to what's what.
Where we start?
And we're going to start with, well, I guess we're going to jump around here. We're going to start with Best Visual Effects. Yes. We're going to work away from the bottom up. And this year, nominated for Best Visual Effects are Blade Runner 2049, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong Skull Island, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and War for the Planet of the Apes. We flipped the coin before we started today, and Bo, you get to go first.
God bless America.
Blade Runner 2049.
Okay, fine. And who do you think's going to win?
My pick is War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Really?
Yes. Why? Yes. It's not that I don't like the effects in Blade Runner 2020.
Actually, all these films are worth
They're all
nominated.
terrific nominations. They're all good nominations. War for the Planet of the Apes, which is a movie that got lost this summer.
Oh, yeah,
amidst everything else.
It's a great movie, though.
It is a great movie, but I think those effects are pretty seamless. Yeah. And creating lifelike living creatures.
The mocap work is incredible.
Is fabulous. Yeah. And I think that's more difficult and harder to pull off than CGI backgrounds.
I go with that.
So that's the reasoning for me. I mean, I'm looking at things like fur and facial expression as opposed to city skylines.
And
ships flying
and giant holograms.
When it looks great, don't get me wrong, but it's War for the Planet of the Apes.
I can agree. Okay, I don't have a problem with that.
All right.
Okay. So, okay.
Now, some of these we should probably preface this. Bo and I have not looked at each other's list.
No, we have not.
We're blissfully unaware of our picks.
We don't know what we
don't even know what categories we've picked, so some of these may come up.
Well, again, as I said, that's the reason why I didn't post it today.
Oh.
I didn't post it today because I didn't want either one of you to read what the other person had written.
Well, that's a good point.
Okay, now if you two got together beforehand and had a hamburger and talked about this crap, well, you know.
He doesn't eat hamburgers.
Well, whatever.
We had sushi.
Sushi. Yeah. Moving on, costume design.
Did you do costume design, Bo?
Yes, I did costume.
Very
design.
good.
You have Jacqueline Duran.
You can skip the names if you
want. For Beauty and the Beast.
Just
you have Jacqueline Duran again for Darkest Hour. You have Mark Bridges for Phantom Thread. You have Luis Sequeira. How else can I slaughter these names if I didn't try?
You can skip them.
Shape of Water. And Consolata Boyle as Victoria and Abdul.
Okay, now what the hell was that movie? Because I've never heard of it.
Dame Judi Dench. It played.
Oh yeah, okay. Now it comes to mind. Oh, okay.
Then the first thing you
She's
should take
playing
away
Queen
from that,
Victoria.
folks, is no, they haven't seen all of these films.
She plays Queen.
What the
Victoria.
hell was that? Oh, well, you didn't see
Yes,
it then.
yeah, she played
Yes,
Queen
but-
Victoria. Yeah. So your pick, Bo?
I am picking Beauty and the Beast.
I almost picked Beauty and the Beast until it occurred to me that a lot of the costuming and characters in the movie were CGI. So where's the costuming there?
Well, the biggest problem I have with this thing is most of these are all period costumes.
Yeah.
So it's not really a lot of design. You know, Phantom Thread. Well,
I'm
they're
picking
wearing
Phantom Thread.
They're wearing clothes.
Well, it's a movie about
making clothes.
making clothes.
Right.
So who votes for costume design?
People who make clothes.
Who make clothes.
So I'll be willing to
There's
bet.
your
Yeah,
winner.
Phantom Thread will
Phantom
probably
Thread
win.
is your winner. There we go.
Actually, I watched Beauty and the Beast last night for the first time.
Yes.
I came home from work last night, and they're running Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat through the last probably hour and 15 minutes.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, well, while it was running, I was busy working on shipping.
Oh, so you weren't really paying attention.
Well, no, I was watching it. And
It was white noise, is what you're saying.
I was watching it, and it seemed like a big CGI show to me.
It really was. And the
I mean,
moral-
I'm looking at the Beast, and I'm going, man, he looks like he's made out of marble or something.
Exactly. He looks like he's made out of rubber.
Yeah, you don't even know that he's the guy in Legion.
And yes, that's the same actor from
It's
Legion.
Dan
Oh, it's
Stevenson.
actor from
Yeah,
Legion.
it's Dan Stevenson from Legion.
That movie was embraced by the world, and I actively disliked it. I really disliked it.
You aren't the only one.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Makeup and hair.
And again, skip the names. Just give the names.
Okay, the three movies up for
I didn't do
makeup,
makeup
and
and
hair
hair,
are
so-
Our Darkest Hour, Victoria and Abdul. What was that? Did anyone see that movie?
I did not see it.
It was in the
Dame
theaters for
Judi
about a
Dench as
week.
Queen Victoria and her.
Oh, that one! Now I remember.
It was in theaters for about a week.
Excuse me, I'm having deja vu.
Right. A week. It was in
And
theaters.
the third film is Wonder. What the hell is Wonder?
Wonder was
Wonder Woman.
No. Julia,
Wonder actually just came out on video this week.
Yeah, Julia Roberts and the kid.
Yeah, the
who's
kid
the
who's-
disfigured child.
Who's this figure kid going to school?
Oh, that one. That
Yes.
one with what's his
Owen
face?
Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, who I hate.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
Olivia
Makeup and hair. It's going to be Darkest Hour. It is.
Now, why Darkest Hour?
Because it's
because Gary Oldman does not look
Gary
like
Gary Oldman is buried under.
Right.
He's playing Winston Churchill, and he's under prosthetics. It's a great performance.
It's a
by
great
them,
performance. Yeah.
But he's buried under prosthetics, and the performance still comes through all the
Yeah.
prosthetics. And I mean, whenever
He
there's a lot of
overacts his
prosthetics-
makeup.
Did you see Wonder?
I did not.
Okay, well, you don't know then what this kid looks like.
I
Because,
saw the-
because the point behind
Whoa,
the movie,
whoa, whoa.
the point behind the movie is the kid
I
has some
saw
sort of
the-
deformity and he's thrown
I
into school.
saw the trailer about 700 freaking times because it kept running.
Well,
and the makeup was okay, but it's Gary Oldman. You don't even remember it's Gary Oldman. You go, is that him?
So, folks, based on Bo seeing the trailer, he decided.
Most people,
You know, this is a great way to do the Academy Awards. Let's just watch the trailers and then see the films.
And Rod can play. a
Why
song.
waste time? Why waste 2 hours of movie watching the movies? We just spent 2 minutes watching
it's
the
like
trailer.
I believe I've already seen the 30 Shades movie because I saw the trailer so many times.
50 Shades.
I'm like, please let this film come out so I never have to see
Not
this again.
30 Shades, 50 Shades.
You
What
have to be-
theater you
you
going
have to be
to?
3
That's the
sheets
dollar
to win to
show.
watch
Get out
it.
of here.
You got chipped out of 20 Shades.
Yeah, you missed out on a couple of shades
It'd
there.
be 3 sheets to the win to watch it.
Okay. You need to get your guitar out now.
Yeah, here it's music time. Did you pick the songs, Bo? Did you pick any songs?
I picked the song.
You picked
Best
the songs?
original score. We
Oh,
got
score.
Dunkirk,
Dunkirk.
Phantom Thread. Don't bring it out unless you're going to be playing Dunkirk.
I don't even know the theme.
This is the theme of Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, Shape of Water, Star Wars: Last Jedi. John Williams, really?
Yeah, it's about his 800th nomination.
3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. What do you think is going to have the best score?
I picked Shape of Water.
I did too because I think it's going to be part of a Shape of Water run for the night.
And when I was watching Shape of Water, that music kept rolling in my
But
head.
you haven't seen Phantom Thread, Johnny Green.
No, I've seen it. No, I've
Oh,
seen.
you've
I've
seen Phantom
that.
Thread?
I've seen
That
all these,
score. That, if I were picking the
Yeah.
Oscars, that would get my vote.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be Shape of Water.
Yeah, me
You
too.
haven't seen Victoria and Abdul.
No, I have not.
Not
It's
recently.
probably on Netflix, man.
It probably is. Probably is. Next up is best song. Now.
Do you have any theme?
Rod Flash
Mighty River.
with the beautiful love theme from.
Mighty River from Mudbound. Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name. Remember Me from Coco. Stand Up for Something from Marshall. And This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman actually got a nomination for something.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
did. That's as we like to call it, circus musical.
Yeah,
Circus musical. The little movie that could, by the way, as a side note, that movie just plays and plays.
Yeah, it's still in
and
theaters.
Plays and plays.
That thing is still in theaters. I am
Despite
shocked.
having lousy reviews.
Oh, the reviews are
People are
ridiculously
going back
bad.
to see this thing again and again.
It's been at River East 21 since it opened. It's still there.
And I bit the bullet. I saw it, and it
Yes.
is pretty miserable.
Yeah.
What's wrong with it?
I am not sure what people are seeing in this thing.
I don't get
Hugh
it.
Jackman.
What's wrong with
It's
it?
got to be Hugh Jackman.
Hugh
And-
Jackman and Zac
Jackman.
Efron.
It,
Does he actually play an historical person, or is he a Mel
Barnum.
stuff?
He's playing Barnum.
He's Petey Barnum.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I could take away from the fact that it's so successful, that and Beauty and the Beast, people must have a real love for musicals right now. Maybe Hollywood might want to start thinking about
Yeah,
trotting
I
out
think
some
Thank
of
you,
those.
Disney.
I think that's out there. Yeah, I think
Because
that could be
that's it, man. I mean, that song, the nominated song, This Is Me, it's perfectly fine, but the movie itself, I don't get it.
Doesn't he
don't
like
get it.
exploit freaks in the thing or something? Because that's what Barnum did, was exploit freaks.
It just,
Come and see the three-legged woman.
It's
Come
a
and see the
sub-
bearded
it's a subtle-
bearded man,
it's a-
bearded
it's-
girl.
let's just say it's not good.
It's
Leave it at that.
it's
But
not good.
but the best song of the year, Bo,
Yes.
is
Remember Me from Coco.
yeah, it's my pick as well. That song, which I have seen Coco, I don't think you have seen
No, I
Coco,
didn't see Coco.
but that is the
heard the
tearjerker
song.
moment in the movie, and that song does everything to make that moment work.
I have not seen Coco, but what I have done is I listened to NPR the other day, and they interviewed the director
Yes.
of Coco, and they talk about this song.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about two production numbers in the thing. One where this song is this big, huge nightclub production number thing with dancing girls and
Right.
you know, people being put up into the air on lazy Susans and shit, spinning around. And
plates?
then the other time is it's a children's lullaby, which actually I guess is what the song is.
Right.
It's actually is a children's lullaby, but they make this big production number out
Yeah.
of it. And yeah, that's one of the things that he was talking about was how they had Benjamin Bratt singing the big production number version of it because he does the
Right.
voice for the character in the thing. But then when they do the quiet lullaby thing, it's a different guy, and yeah,
It's a
supposedly
child.
just breaks your heart.
It's a child. It is. Yeah, it's a great moment in the movie, and I think that's the one that probably most of the voters have seen. Anyway.
That's when people will go, I remember that one.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
It's so nice.
Production design. Now we're moving on to production design. Nominated this year are Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water.
Bo?
I'm going to pick Blade Runner. Although Shape of Water could end up winning.
Well,
I'm
that,
going to
okay.
pick Blade
You're
Runner.
you're picking it to actually win, and
Yeah.
would that also be your
That would be
choice?
my pick.
Yeah, I'm going Shape of Water. I think Dunkirk would probably be my pick if I was voting.
Yeah.
But Shape of Water it is. Part of the route.
Sound mixing. Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, Star Wars Last Jedi.
I didn't pick sound mixing.
Okay.
All right, it's going to be Dunkirk. It's
Dunkirk.
going to be Dunkirk.
I could go with that.
Yeah.
I could go with that.
I did watch Dunkirk about a month ago.
2 weeks ago.
Well, was it 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago?
2 weeks ago.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I said, let's watch Dunkirk. He went, okay.
It's a good film. It's a good film. It's a good war film.
Yeah.
It's I haven't seen any of the other films, but I mean, as far as it having any sort of best picture pretensions, I haven't seen the other films, but it's a serviceable war film. It's a good war film. I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking.
And it also has that Nolan playing with time
Yeah.
type of thing too. But
Yeah, that gets sort of gimmicky after a while, though.
it does. It does. But I think it
And
works
this
here.
one, it's a little less. It's less of an issue in that film, though.
Yeah.
You don't I mean it's there, but it's not really there. I mean, it's like, he doesn't beat you over the head with it.
Yeah. Now, this is Bo's favorite category: sound mixing.
I think we just did that.
We did sound mixing.
We're going to do
Or
editing.
sound editing, which is Bo's second favorite category.
Did you do that one as well?
No, I didn't.
Did not do it. All right.
Second favorite.
Although I'll be willing to bet it's going to be Baby Driver.
Sound editing.
Yeah.
Did you see Baby Driver?
Yes. I did.
Oh, good.
Let's have the nominees first before I cast my vote.
The nominees for sound editing are Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, and again, Star Wars Last Jedi. Star Wars is going to get shut out this year.
Oh yeah, I'm going with Dunkirk only because whoever wins sound mixing
You usually win sound
uses
editing.
sound editing. But yeah, Baby Driver would probably be my pick.
Because that film is the sound at work on that film is incredible.
Well, what's the difference between the two? I mean, I know that with Baby Driver, it's one long series of songs that roll in and out
yeah,
of the thing.
Dunkirk is basically you're doing a linear story. With Baby Driver, you're mixing in the story, which meshes completely and totally with the music. You know, it's not the songs; it's the soundtrack itself. It just,
Dialogue, sound
Yeah.
effects, music.
yeah.
all
I mean,
that.
you get the little bit there at the end where you're doing that mixtape. Where it's
Right.
Kevin Spacey, doing a mixtape. He's doing. It's like, what is he doing? He's making mixtapes.
Film editing.
Hey, I said something.
Baby Driver, Dunkirk, I, Tonya, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri are the nominees for this year. Bo, who do you think's going to be best editor?
I have a feeling it's going to be Dunkirk. Although to me, if I was voting, I'd give it to Baby Driver.
Dunkirk. I'm going with Dunkirk
Yeah.
myself, although it's possible that this could also fall. Don't be surprised if it falls under the Shape of Water
thing too.
route.
But to me, it would be Dunkirk right away because it's a film that.
And Dunkirk, I mean, with that time shifting playing around, that's all to do with.
And Baby Driver is cutting with the song.
Oh, that movie is cut so well too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that. I mean, maybe that'll wind up winning because of that.
It could be, but I think Dunkirk will probably win.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we're going to do cinematography. Located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood, Alternate Reality is the only brick-and-mortar store that discounts all new comics 15% off every day for everyone, and that's been since 1994. And all brand new first issues are discounted at 25% off every new Comic Wednesday. So stop on down and save some money. And we're back. Best cinematographer. See, we've got nominees are Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Mudbound, and The Shape of Water.
Roger Deakins for Blade Runner.
And it's about time.
Because he should have had one a long time
Roger
ago.
Deakins has been nominated 14 times in his career, and he's been working since Fargo.
Yeah.
Fargo, no, he did Shawshank Redemption,
He did
then
Shawshank
Fargo.
first,
He's
then
done
Fargo.
basically all the Coen Brothers movies. He worked for Scorsese.
And he's
This has
done
been a
all the
long
Christopher
time
Nolan
coming,
things.
and Blade Runner 2049 is the best looking movie of the year.
Yeah, it is. It is. Roger Deakins should walk away.
He should have
with
won
it.
already. Skyfall, he did a James Bond film as
He
well.
should, yeah, and he's probably going to be doing the next one as well.
Okay, what about Shape of Water?
Shape of Water could end up winning.
That
if
could
there's a
be if it's
wave,
part of the route. Yeah.
But it's probably good. It may be Deakins because they go, you've nominated this guy like 14 times.
He's really Deakins is respected, and he's been nominated 14 times, and everybody says this guy should already win one.
It could be. This is your time.
But it wouldn't
How
be.
old is he? Is he getting ready to die? I mean,
No,
68.
Deakins is actually pretty spry. He's in his 60s. He's fine. He's no health issues. He's fine. He's healthy as hell.
Okay, moving into the writing categories. Original screenplay. As they say, original screenplay. This is a piece of work that never existed
Not
before.
based on any sort of
Yes.
previously published
It's-
material.
Guy sat in the room and went, hey, let's do this.
It's not like some crummy Marvel movie.
Exactly.
That would be an adapted screen.
That would be adapted. This is an original idea which somebody has come up with and has never been seen before. And the nominees this year are The Big Sick,
Yes.
Get Out,
Yes.
Lady Bird, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Bo?
Okay.
Okay, uh-oh.
It's a tough one. This is a tough one.
Shape of Water is the original screenplay, but it's basically a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon.
No, it's not.
Well,
I don't buy that.
It's got
I
the
don't buy
elements. It's
that.
got the elements of
It's
it.
got a creature in it that looks
Yes,
sort of
it
like
looks
the
sort of
creature.
like the Creature from the Black
But
Lagoon.
that story is not.
This is him doing Creature
I
from
don't
the Black
remember
Lagoon.
what's her name in Creature from the Black Lagoon masturbating.
Well,
okay?
no, I remember that at all.
I don't remember that.
Well,
That would have been
well,
interesting. Wait a minute.
we're updating it, okay? We're updating it.
And she wasn't deaf either. In the
No, she
original
wasn't
movies.
deaf in the original. So to me, it's going to be between either Jordan Peele or McDonald for 3 Billboards. I think it's going to be McDonald for 3 Billboards.
Wow, I'm going to go Get Out with Jordan Peele. I think this is going to be where they're going to reward, as much as Get Out is one of the top 2, 3, 4 movies of the year. It's not going to get much love anywhere else.
It's a genre film. It's still
Yeah,
a genre
that's the
film.
problem. It's a horror film. When you break it down, it's a horror film, and those don't get much love. This is where they're going to reward it.
It could be, it could be a shot.
But
You
don't be
sure?
surprised if Shape of Water or 3 Billboards
Or
comes out.
I think 3 Billboards would be the underlying winner there. I think
A
Shape
film
of
I
Water.
was not that crazy about.
I love that film.
No.
Man, I was not a big fan. I mean, I like it enough to recommend it to people, but I think it plays... It's written by an Irishman trying to write the Deep South.
Small town, yeah.
And it feels like it sometimes. It feels like the Deep South filtered through what he's heard about the Deep South. So I didn't buy it. I didn't buy a lot of it.
Now, you weren't here when we did whining about the nominations, but...
Yeah, he was.
But no, he
Oh,
wasn't.
no, you were there.
No, he wasn't here.
You
So-
didn't
so
hear the Wonder Woman?
I'm glad I had
So
such a presence. in the room.
I need to ask you, okay, because they love this, Lady Bird.
Yeah.
This was a great film.
It was a great film.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we did not.
No,
Really?
we did
Get
not.
him, Bo.
Wow.
Get him. Get him, Bo. Get him.
No, we did not.
What's wrong with Lady Bird on
It's
this
a
list?
nice small indie film.
What
It's
did
not
we
one of
say
the
about
best films
that?
of the year.
Oh, it's
no.
one of the best films of the year. Because, and I think you had the same reaction, and I'm not going to undermine what you're saying because you know movies as well as anybody I know knows movies. This is an incredibly subtly written movie. Everything is happening beneath the surface of this movie. It's not. I think a lot of people went into this thinking it was going to be a John Hughes film because it's about a teenage girl and going to school and finding herself and coming up with her own life. And it was not that. This is a lot subtler screenplay, and it plays under the radar a lot. And that's what I loved about it. And I think people miss that. They didn't quite tack onto it.
I think most people look at it as a Netflix movie.
Be that as it may, they
Which
make
is
good,
not a bad
they
thing.
make good
It's not a bad
Netflix
thing at
movies
all.
too.
Yeah,
Except when Will Smith is involved, and then they're really terrible.
Yeah, they're really
Why isn't that Will Smith movie on any of
because
these?
It's going to be a Ratney. That's why.
yeah, that's why. It's
Yeah, you know, the one where he's like got the orcas as
the one that they're already working on a sequel. So
Are they working on a sequel?
Yes,
it was incredibly
that film
successful.
did massive numbers.
That was incredibly successful for Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Best adapted screenplay. Now, this is something that's been taken from already existing source material.
And there is a major piece of comic book history in this.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
The already existing material, and they made a film out of it.
Correct.
Okay, and on the list this year are Call Me By Your Name,
Yes.
The Disaster Artist,
Yes.
Molly's Game,
Yes.
Mudbound,
Yes.
and the greatest film ever made in the history of the world, Logan.
Logan, this represents a historical moment for comic books and movies. The first time a screenplay for a comic book inspired film has been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, because you would have thought that they would have nominated Dark Knight Rises. They did not.
I'm
didn't
surprised
make the
Wonder
cut.
Woman's not on this list.
You just doing it to
What
make
is
Rodney.
with you and Wonder Woman? Really? Really?
I'm just trying to get Rodney into the conversation.
Adapt the screenplay.
Just doing what I can to get Rodney.
So you go first on this.
Thank you. I'm actually picking. What did I pick? Comic book. I'm picking.
You've forgotten.
I have forgotten.
The one at the top
I
is
actually-
it's in bold.
I lost my place, and I don't have my specs on either.
Hey, you can't say.
Call Me By Your Name. Call Me By Your Name is a movie that's heavily respected by critics and filmmakers. This is going to be where this film gets some love tonight. It's not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, it's written by James Ivory.
And it's written by James Ivory of Merchant Ivory fame years ago. So it's got that pedigree behind it. I must confess, a movie I have not seen.
What?
Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah, I have no interest in seeing that film.
Oh, okay.
I just,
Why haven't the two of you seen a movie about pedophilia yet?
but that's the main reason why I have no interest in seeing that film.
Why haven't the two of you seen? Okay, this is what gets me about
Hey,
this
he's
about
18,
this
he's
movie.
18
This
years
movie
old.
is about pedophilia.
Yes, it is, and they're trying to pretend it's not.
Well,
and it is.
and nobody's talking about that.
Oh
but
no,
it's a
they're
movie-
talking about it, just talking about it quietly.
Well, it's very quietly, but it's a movie about pedophilia.
Because it's a foreign film, and so they
No,
it's
it doesn't
not a
make it
foreign
right.
It's not a foreign film.
It's
It's a small market. It's a small market film. Most general audiences have not heard about it. They have no interest in seeing it, and so that's why no one's talking about it.
But
Does
it
Armie
was seen by
Hammer
enough
get
people
any
to get
love in
nominated
It was
for
seen by
screen-
enough people to get nominated.
Well, now, wait a second. Do you
winners.
really think they're going to pick Best
I
Adapted
do.
Screenplay a movie about
I
pedophilia?
do.
Because James Ivory is from Merchant Ivory, so he's got,
And the film it's got a lot of respect for
he's got a
critics.
respect. Now, I am not picking that film. I'm picking Aaron Sorkin's Molly's Game because that's a hell of a script.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the
But you know-
history-making moment of this
But
category.
you know what would be a real shock? If Logan won.
Well, it's not going to,
It's
but
not
it would
going
be
to.
great if it did. Because, it deserves to be here.
But
It
why
deserves
not?
to be
Because
here.
they take the cross and they make an X out of it at the end, so it should win just for that reason alone.
The only real dark horse film here is Mudbound, which most people have never seen.
It's on
It's a
Netflix.
Netflix film.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
a
watch
Netflix
it whenever you
film,
want.
and everyone's got bootlegs for it. And I saw it on a bootleg because I was at work, and my dispatcher was watching it, and I saw it. And it's a well-made film, but that could be, well, this is a small film, we're going to pick you. But I'm picking.
Well, there may be
Sorkin.
still a disparity with Academy voters and Netflix material.
Yeah, they're trying to figure that game out.
Yeah.
It's not in the theater, but it's a movie.
Right.
But it could be in the theater because you could run it for the theater for 3 days.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, I mean, you saw movies, or could something like Daredevil? Like
No.
because
No,
that's
That's a TV
episodic.
series.
That's a
Yeah,
TV show.
TV
It's
show.
got to be a movie.
Now, the Will Smith Orc movie, that could be nominated.
That could be nominated, yeah, because
That's a movie.
that's the original screenplay.
It's a lousy movie.
What was the idea? Who decided to do that in the first place?
Hey, man,
it's
that-
Alien Nation with orcs.
That was David Ayer's idea to do a ripoff of Alien Nation, and Netflix said, "We'll give you the money," and he made the film.
David Ayers is pulling the wool over a lot of people's eyes in Hollywood. I really don't think he's worth the salt. I really don't.
It's
Not a
that's what
fan.
it is.
Not a fan of David Ayers. Suicide Squad. Remember that?
Yes.
Well, Suicide Squad is one of those films where the studio went, "We're going to tell you how to do the movie." He goes, "I don't need your help."
You needed help.
Well, yeah, we talked a lot about Suicide Squad. That was something that Warner's, as they've done with many other films, killed it. In
It committed it to
post-production.
death. Yeah,
They killed it in post-production by editing it to death.
yeah, they cut the hell out of it.
Okay. This is it?
Yeah, we're on our last page.
Okay, then we're going to take a break.
Oh.
And we'll be right back after this. Every Sunday is super at Alternate Reality with our Super Sunday Sale. Each Sunday we pick a different character, family, or publisher, and we discount all of their comics and trade paperbacks 25% off all day long. What we pick for the sale is different each week, but each Sunday you'll save 25% off. And that's all day long, all day Sunday, only at Alternate Reality. Best animated feature, we've got Boss Baby, The Breadwinner. What the hell's The Breadwinner?
The Breadwinner, that just hit Netflix this week. I just watched it a couple of nights ago. Yeah, it's a hell of a film. It's about a girl in Afghanistan who's a little girl pretending to be a boy.
Oh, yeah.
Because her father's been wrongly accused of murder or something. And it's great. It's great. But it's not going to win.
Okay. No, it's not going to win.
Boss Baby, Breadwinner, Coco, Ferdinand, and Loving Vincent. Now, for me, I think Ferdinand is probably the shoe.
How did that even make this list?
It's a slam dunk shoe. Slam dunk shoe in.
There was an anime movie I picked as one of my 10 best last year called Your Name that could have taken Boss Baby and Ferdinand's spot. Neither of those movies deserve to be nominated for Best Picture.
You have John Cena. This is a history-making movie.
Hey,
you have John Cena doing the voice for an Academy nominated.
Yes.
So that means he's going to be there with his
He's going to be there.
He will be there.
Him and Nick.
No. Yeah, he'll be there. He'll
be there. Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah, he did the voice for it. He'll be there.
But
he'll be buried way in the back.
Yeah.
But he'll...
No. He'll be in the front.
Pixar needs to make room on their mantle for
Coco.
yet another.
We're going for Coco.
Now, what's so good about Coco that it won? I mean, we talked about the song.
Well, Coco's not up there with the cream of the crop of Pixar. It's not in the up genre or category or anything for me. It's a perfectly fine film. It has in the middle section. That's when the runaround starts. There's a lot of busy work for the characters getting from point A to point B. You have the emotional beginning, the emotional end, and a lot of people running from A to B to C in the middle. But it's a good film. It's no Incredibles.
No, it's not Incredibles.
No Up, but it's a fine film.
No
certainly better than the last few that Pixar have done.
It's better than Boss Baby. I'll give him that.
Okay, well, to answer a question for me, how the hell does Boss Baby win? I mean, you talk about Ferdinand. How does Boss Baby win?
Boss Baby was a big financial success.
It made a lot of money. Yeah,
made a ton of money. Ferdinand did not. That's what's puzzling about Ferdinand. It got terrible reviews and did not make money. Yet it's sitting there.
Hollywood loves Alec Baldwin.
Well, you know,
that was the only reason people went.
Here's the thing with Ferdinand. Ferdinand is a story that was written in 1942, I think it was, and it was written by a Spanish writer. Can't tell you who it was, but it was supposedly an answer or a reply to the Spanish Civil War, and it has a lot of layers and depth to it because of that. But it also works as a children's story too.
And I'm sure
and children, I guess, I'll be honest with you, I managed to get through raising the little girl without ever running across Ferdinand anywhere or seeing it anywhere. So I mean, first I heard of it was when I heard that Cena was doing the voice on it.
Yeah, I think it was.
But this is something that's been around since 1942 and is pretty well loved by a lot of folks.
And I'm sure that when it made its way to a big budget animated feature from Hollywood, all those references to the Spanish Civil War have been stripped clean from it to be replaced by fart jokes.
Well, they were all subtext to begin with in the story. I mean, there's nothing there. And then Ferdinand took part in the Spanish Civil War. Yeah. There was none of that.
I'm sure there's none of that in the movie.
Well, none of that in the original story. But yeah, I remember, the director was talking about, we didn't have a lot of these secondary characters we had to put in there because we got to stretch the thing out to an hour and a half, and it's only a 20, 30-page story or whatever it was with big block text.
And this probably was made for the international audience in mind, who knew this story.
Maybe. Didn't do well there either.
No, it didn't do well at all.
Okay, best supporting actress. Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, Aniston Janney for I, Tonya, Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer for The Shape of Water.
Well, Spencer's already won awards before. I really like Manville's performance in Phantom Thread, but she's not going to win. I'm picking Allison Janney. Allison Janney is so obnoxious in this film. If you saw her after you saw it, you'd want to smack her upside the head.
I'm picking Allison Janney. It wouldn't be my pick.
Yeah. Who'd you pick?
I would pick Laurie Metcalf. Okay. But Allison Janney's going to win because it is the big performance of the year. She's playing very large.
Very large.
And that's fine. But I've always been one. I prefer the more subtler approach.
What's interesting is Allison Janney made her name basically on doing TV, and so did Laurie Metcalf on Roseanne. People didn't know who the hell these people were until they did TV.
Right.
So you got two basically big name TV actors working on this stuff.
But I would agree with you about Phantom Thread because I really like that film, and that performance is way
She's
up there too.
very, very subtle.
Yeah.
And she's a strong part of the film. And I said I loved every moment of her performance, but she's not going to win.
No. It always goes to a more showy performance.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actor, we have William Dafoe for The Florida Project, Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards, Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, and Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
2 actors from the same movie. You'd think they'd cancel each other.
They're not going to.
They're not going.
They're not going to. These two are not going to, because the performances are completely different. And I'm picking Sam Rockwell.
Me too.
Rockwell is perfect in this.
Yeah,
film.
Rockwell's great in, and this.
He's
has
also a comic book fan.
Well, it's been a long time coming for him too. This is a guy who's disappeared into some.
What does that have to do with this?
Yeah,
3 Billboards.
3 Billboards. The first
he's
time
got to hit him an Oscar. He's a comic book fan.
The first
What does
time
that have to do with anything?
the first time you see his
And he enjoys White Castles too.
the first time you see Sam Rockwell on 3 Billboards, he's reading Mark Waid's Invincible.
Okay.
He's wearing comic book T-shirts.
Well, they don't hand out awards for that.
Mark Waid doesn't do Invincible.
Oh, whatever the Incorruptible, whatever the hell those.
Oh,
things
one of the Boom
yeah, one of the
iBooks.
iBooks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of the iBooks.
Okay.
But Rockwell's had this a long time coming. He's had some really unique performances in his career. Things like Chuck Barris.
Played Chuck Barris. He was a villain in Iron Man 2. And
Well, we don't talk about that.
But I have to
that
side
was
note
one
this.
of the crummy Marvels.
If I'm voting, it's Willem Dafoe. I know nobody saw Florida Project that's sitting at this table. Nobody saw Florida Project for the most part. But it was stuff that I never saw Willem Dafoe do before in a movie, and that is be warm.
I've seen him in stuff where he's been.
No,
that's not his normal. That's not his normal performance.
And I'm not saying that's enough to hand him an award. But I think what he does is there's a real sense of humanity to Dafoe in this performance, and I really love it. And I'm kind of rooting for him to take it away from Rockwell.
You're gonna love him as Vulko in Aquaman.
Yeah, he's Vulko in Aquaman. Because my thing about
is he gonna be warm in that too?
He's gonna weigh 300 pounds.
Because Rockwell in 3 Billboards, the guy at the beginning of the film is not the guy at the end of the film.
Right. He goes through
a massive arc at the end of the film, and you're going, man, that's pretty impressive.
And he pulls it off every step.
Oh yeah, he's not a false note in his entire performance.
Yeah, Rockwell's one of the better actors working today.
So it's going to be Sam Rockwell.
It's going to be Sam Rockwell.
Even though he dropped an F-bomb on Saturday Night Live.
He also won the Golden Globe for
that was one of the best F-bombs I heard.
That worked quite well.
That was on point.
He apologized right away. He knew he said it and kept going.
Okay, what do we got next? Lead actress. Best actress. We got Sally Hawkins, Shape of Water, Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya. Saoirse Ronan, thank you, whoever, for Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep.
An up-and-comer.
Meryl Streep. Never seen this name before.
Yeah.
Meryl
Her first performance.
Streep?
Yeah, I've heard good things about her.
For the Post.
I've heard she's pretty good.
This is kind of a horse race category. There's a lot of really good performances in this category, but
they're all great.
They're all great performances.
But
only one can win.
Only one can win. And
boy, there's a chestnut for you.
Only one can win.
I'm picking Frances McDormand.
And I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better
She
performance.
is a force of nature from the beginning to the end.
There's nobody who does that withering sideways glance at a person in a scene that she can do that just reduces them to a puddle.
Yeah, it's like, you're like, what the hell?
You can piss yourself.
Right.
Yeah, that's not to say Sally Hawkins is great in Shape of Water. Sally Hawkins is great because that's a role that you would think in a major Hollywood film they would pick a more classically attractive person.
That's a person you'd pick who has not worked much,
right?
Because an established actress wouldn't go 10 feet from that thing.
Yeah.
Because what is the first thing we see her do in this film?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Meryl Streep doing that?
No.
I don't think so.
The only other time I saw major actors do what you're talking about is Jennifer Connelly, the final scene in
Requiem
for a Dream. And I was shocked that an actress of her caliber would have done that. But there it is. But anyway, back to this category. Frances McDormand. I think Margot Robbie is on her way to winning Oscars down the line.
Oh, yeah, because she's actually perfect in this film.
Best actor. Chalamet. Yeah, that's what I said.
Chalamet.
Call Me by Your Name. Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread. Daniel
Kaluuya
for Get Out. Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. And Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire.
A movie nobody has seen.
One guy on that list who really shouldn't be there.
Again, we talked about this for whining about the nominations.
Movie.
Everybody loves his performance.
Yeah, his performance is the only reason to see the damn movie. Because the movie itself sucks.
He wears a great wig in this thing.
Yeah, the
yes,
wig,
he
the
does.
wig and the glasses.
Best wig.
Best wig from an actor.
Gary Oldman, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Gary Oldman. Even though Daniel Day-Lewis says he's retiring, I think it's going to be Gary Oldman.
Any other year it would have been Daniel Day-Lewis, but again, it's Gary Oldman, and it's a great performance.
Yes.
in a okay movie.
Yes.
But it's also, again, it's a bigger performance.
It's a bigger performance.
And
Daniel Day-Lewis is
those
basically
tend to
playing
attract attention.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, yeah, but it's
good. It's good Daniel
exactly.
Day-Lewis, right.
But Day-Lewis is one of those actors that so totally immerses himself in a character that even these little side ticks that he has and
there's some goofy.
It's
I mean,
pretty
you look at him and
remarkable
you're
what
going,
he does with a
you're
character.
playing a character who basically most people, if they saw him on the street, would kick the shit out of him. Because you're a jerk, and you can't talk while I'm eating. You can't do a whole bunch of other stuff, and the whole little twist there at the end where he gets his inspiration. You're going, what the hell? How do you sell that line? How do you sell this? And he sells it fine. And I don't believe he's not acting again either. I don't buy that at all.
No, he's probably going to do more.
Yeah, he's going to do a couple more.
He's going to be in Daredevil season 3.
Yeah, Daredevil season 3.
So
And
Gary
that will mark the end of his career.
He's going to play Jackal.
That will mark, great.
Gary Oldman it is. Darkest Hour.
Okay, Gary Oldman. And now we have
The
best
big two. We're down to
director.
the big two.
Best director. Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan. Get Out, Jordan Peele. Lady Bird, Greta Gerwig. Phantom Thread, Paul Thomas Anderson. And The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro.
This isn't really much of a bet because Del Toro's already won the BGA award. So that means he's going to get the Oscar. Because they never, ever go around that. Well, they can, but they don't.
It's happened.
Yeah, it's happened, but they don't.
Not very often.
Not very often. So it's going to be Del Toro for Shape of Water.
Yeah, it pains me to say that Paul Thomas Anderson won't win because I tend to always...
Paul Thomas Anderson will come up with some other film, and believe me, he's going to get his Oscar. It's happening.
But it is going to be Shape of Water,
It's going to
Guillermo
be
del
Shape of
Toro.
Water, yeah.
For sure. And now the big prize.
You sure? No. And now,
Yes.
we're going to take a break.
Oh, we are going to take... Oh, we're going to tease. We're going
And
to tease.
when we come back, we're going to do Best Picture. Who is going to win Best Picture this year at the Academy Awards?
The Oscar.
Academy, yes, the Oscar. Yes, the
It's going to be the Oscar.
And you're going to see Frank Fain applauding himself and breaking down into a puddle of piss at the end of the awards ceremony while someone else picks up the Oscar and wins. We'll be right back right after this. You know, folks, there really is no other store that has as many sales as Alternate Reality. Beyond our signature sale of 15% off all new comics, we also have specialized sales peppered throughout the week, month, and year. For example, did you know that every Thursday is Ladies' Day at the store? That's right, ladies. Stop by the store and you'll save 20% off all of your purchases all day long. Ladies from 8 to 80 get a 20% discount on everything all day, every Thursday, only at Alternate Reality. And we're back. Okay, Best Picture. We've got 10 nominees. A Wonder Woman is not on here anywhere.
Damn it!
God damn. We got Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Those are all of your Best Picture nominees. Gentlemen,
Can we start
What do you
off,
think?
Bo? What do you think does not deserve to be on the list?
Lady Bird? Or Call Me By Your Name?
I hear it's quite subtle.
Okay, you can't. Well, okay, we have to disqualify "Call Me by Your Name" because neither of us have seen it, and I, even though it is what it is about,
It's
I'm
kinda
not
hard
going.
to
pedophilia, isn't
I'm
it?
not. Well, even though it is what it is, I'm not going to say it doesn't deserve to be on the list because I have not seen it. Okay, so that's your two choices right there.
Well, I broke this down. It's posted up whenever he posted up. 3 of these films to me are not going to win. Call Me By Your Name, Lady Bird, and Phantom Thread. They're small films. They're not going to win. It's not going to happen. So they knocked it down to 7. Darkest Hour, good film, not an Academy Award.
There's 9 nominees.
Yeah. Well,
Not 10.
Oh, whatever. Okay. Huh?
9.
Oh.
How did they... Again, where's Wonder Woman then? That should have been on there.
Was it?
You know, when they had
was
the
it the
envelope,
best- you know, even if
when
we're
they
gonna-
had the envelope, Wonder Woman fell out when they were making the announcement.
That's that same line they said about Marissa Tomei wasn't supposed to win Best Supporting Actress. The guy said that.
Hey, remember last year's Oscars? This isn't the winner. This is the winner.
Actually, remember, you got something to say, but remember last year's Oscar? You're talking about 3 small films?
Yeah.
Midnight won last year.
Midnight won last
That
year.
was a small film.
Moonlight won last
Or
year.
Moonlight.
And most people now go, what the hell was that?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
a
but
great
no,
film.
most
It's a
people
great
didn't-
film, but
most people
went,
didn't see the watch
Yeah, yeah.
towards the end.
My point is, okay, Wonder Woman. I like Wonder Woman. Don't get me wrong; it's a film I like. Rob, don't get mad to me.
Talk to him.
Don't get mad to
What
me.
are you talking
But
to
if,
me?
if
What?
we have to have representation of a superhero film
Yes.
or a comic book movie, I should say, on this list,
Yes.
it's got to be Logan, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have picked
Logan.
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 I don't see
on
Logan
that
on the list either.
Well,
It
that's-
should be.
What the hell?
Damn it.
Logan, yeah, it should have been, but I don't think they could get into the
I'll be a
violence
little
of it.
controversial. I'll say the Post doesn't deserve to be.
And
on
where
the
the hell's
the
Justice
Post
League
is-
get on this list?
It's on the worst
It
list.
missed it.
The Post, I think The Post belongs on the list, but I don't think The Post is a winner. It's a great film. It's not going to win.
It's a serviceable film. Not when you have All the President's Men.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying before.
Well,
All the President's was
It is not All the President's Men.
But if you look at The Post is a companion piece to All the President's Men.
And as much as I like Tom Hanks is not Jason Robards.
No, he's not.
No.
Well, then how's a companion piece? And if Jason Robards is
Jason Robards is dead.
Even worse. Yeah. What about Dustin Hoffman? What about Robert Redford? Do they at least make cameos in this movie?
They do not. They're old guys.
It can't be a companion piece.
This is before they get to the Watergate stories.
But this category is
he's playing a young Jason Robards.
Yes, he's playing a young Jason Robards.
This is a 2-movie horse race.
Yes.
This is down to 2 movies.
Yes.
It's Shape of Water or 3 Billboards.
Yes.
Right now, I'm going to say Shape of Water.
Could be Shape of Water.
There's a couple of clues.
But I think 3 Billboards is going to win.
No. 3 Billboards won't win because which of those 2 is not nominated for Best Director?
Well, when you have 9 nominees, you're going to have people dropped off.
3 Billboards is not nominated for Best Director.
Which is a
in the entire
slight.
10,046-year history of the Academy, there have only been 3 movies that have won that were not nominated for Best Director.
But who won Best Director last year?
Yeah, I believe one of them was Beautiful Man, right? That was one of them.
I think that was one of them.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So it does not happen very often, but I really think this is Del Toro's year.
Yeah, but what about last year, though? Who won Best Director last year? It wasn't the guy who did Moonlight.
It was Damien Chazelle who did La La Land. That's why everybody was surprised.
Yeah,
right, but he was nominated.
Yeah, he was nominated. So, yeah, you could be right. It could be
I think it's
because
he's
not nominated. It could be. But then again, they could go, it's been a slight, so we're going to give him the award because, we forgot to put him on the list.
Shape of Water.
Okay. I wouldn't have a problem with either one of those winning.
I would. I'm not a 3 Billboards fan.
What's wrong with it?
Again, I think it kind of filters the South through the sensibilities of someone from Europe and feels like
does it come off that way?
It does. It feels like part reality and part mythology of what somebody has heard.
What are you talking about? He lives in Tennessee.
It's a guy from Ireland.
He lives in Tennessee.
How long has he lived in Tennessee?
About 10 minutes ago.
Well, I was going to say, if he's lived in Tennessee for the last 30 years, maybe he can write that.
He just moved in.
You're sure he lives in Tennessee? You're pulling this out of your ass.
Yeah, wow.
Obviously, I was making it up. And he thinks,
Bo, our resident lying sack of crap.
Bo?
I was obviously making it up, and he bought it.
Go get that potted plant, will you?
He bought it.
I got a couple of poinsettias in the front of the show.
Things are about dead.
You have ruined your credibility. We are no longer a trusted member of this.
Look at those dead plants up there. They're dead.
Sarah's trying to keep them alive.
Why?
And she likes them.
They're brown. They're dying.
We'll see what she does tomorrow.
Well, that's the Oscars, kids. Thanks for coming.
Okay. So that's if does anybody have any thoughts or ideas about this year's show? I mean, it obviously hasn't happened yet, but taking all the nominations in total. Any ideas?
Hey,
any trends? Does it look like the Oscars are looking to go any direction? I mean, is this the year of the woman? Is this the year of African Americans?
Well, yes.
Is this the year of pedophiles?
No, there is more.
This is the year of blends.
Yeah, they tried
to do a little bit of everything.
I mean, you've got Get Out, you've got Jordan Peele, you've got Greta Gerwig and Lady Bird. I mean, they're trying to make it more inclusive.
I would actually be shocked if they actually picked a couple of winners that from first time directors on there. Just to get them. I know it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen because Hollywood still has this old boys club they still have to listen to, and I don't see that happening.
Is this the same old tired voting that you were bringing up before?
Hey, I looked that up. I have proof behind it. I wasn't making up stuff about some guy living in Kentucky. Now I looked that up. There was old boys club on there, and there was certain movies. I went back to the history of Oscars.
It was Alabama. He lives in Alabama.
Did he move again?
Listen, I went back in the history of that, and I went back. I actually did some research and going back in the history of the Oscars and looking at best pictures on that and going, "You got to be kidding me! You picked that one because there was and this was before the whole politics thing came in."
Have you ever seen Kramer vs. Kramer?
Yes,
it's dated as hell. Right
now.
All right,
but that was a good movie. That was about
at the time. It was a great movie.
When it came out and when it was nominated for an Oscar, it was not dated.
No.
I do not.
I remember going to see that movie.
No, I'm talking about at the time in which it was nominated. No, it was not.
The only
You look
reason
at
it's
it now,
dated because of the
yes,
look.
it is.
But you can't say that it wasn't worthy of having an Oscar nomination now.
No.
Looking at it 40 years
I
later.
don't have a problem with the film at all. I thought.
I know what you mean by dated because
I
the
mean,
fact
if
that it
you
was
look
on
at
the
it
I
now,
know
you
that-
go. If you look at it now, you go.
Yeah, nobody
It
uses
looks like a
cell phones.
70s
Wow,
movie.
it's dated.
No, I know what he's saying. What he's saying.
Look at how big that cell phone is. My God, it's like a brick.
No, what
This is
he
dated.
what he said is that it has the look of what was it
79. That was the
79.
same year.
It has
It looked like it was made in
I have it
1979.
indented into
It
my
was.
head. It came out the same month as Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
No.
Oh, okay.
1979, December of 79.
That looked like it was made in the late 70s.
Yeah.
too.
that was dated.
But
Well,
that,
They're in their pajamas.
everything,
no, but-
everything in its time, gentlemen.
No, but I'm
everything in
saying
its
when
time.
I think I ran across Kramer vs. Kramer recently. The print looks like crap.
Well, it hasn't probably been touched.
Well,
in
it
years.
Yeah,
depends on what the
it
studio
had this
But then
gray,
you can't-
dark, crappy.
They're not going to
texture.
touch. They're not going to clean it up anytime
Well,
soon.
there's no hue and cry. It's the 30th anniversary of Kramer vs. Kramer.
I know, but not only
Hey,
that,
I just
also
bought
because of the mess
a
that's
high
going
definition
on with.
remaster of Colossus: The Forbin Project.
Why?
If that can get done,
That is a great movie.
I love that movie.
I watched that movie. I watched that movie about 3 weeks ago. Okay, that is a great little
it's
movie.
in widescreen and high definition, and it looks
man.
fabulous.
Really?
It looks fabulous. Yeah. Yeah. So don't tell me Kramer versus Kramer won't ever see the light of
Man,
day.
that opening
Always.
scene where he's walking through that computer.
The reason,
Always.
I'm gonna tell you why
And the
it
lights
probably
go on.
won't see the time of day right now is because of one name. Because of it.
Dustin Hoffman.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, that's a problem. But
Yeah.
That and Robert Benton's been forgotten at this point.
but bringing it
So was
around back,
the child actor too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bring it back around. This list, look, things don't change overnight. It's not like we're suddenly going to have all this major change happening at the Oscar voting. But this is a begin. This is a start.
There are more.
Okay, let me ask you. Let me slip this by you. Even though we saving it for a later post about Black Panther. Now
It won't get nominated.
yeah, every critic that saw it, and they was talking about the sociological thing of it.
It's a religious experience from what I've heard.
You hateful man. You hateful man.
I think it's very possible it could get nominated for a screenplay.
And
It could.
And best costume design
And,
and-
well, I'll give you this. I think Kugler could wind up with it. But the
Best
problem is, it came out in February. And they don't start
forget
voting
until
December.
movies that come out around.
Yeah, people
January.
tend to forget. So you know what will happen to get around that? It'll get re-released or something will happen.
No, it'll,
Do they still
It'll
do
be
it?
out on
Oh, yeah, they do.
It'll
Oh, yeah, they
be
do.
out on
Every
DVD.
day-
by
I think
that
it's about
point.
DVD
Yeah.
by
May or June.
Yeah,
May or
Yeah.
June.
more likely it'll probably be out on DVD
And they
about
pass
October.
out screeners to all the voters anyway.
Yeah.
But
They got screeners of these films. These films in the theaters, they got screeners of them already.
it's a long year. It's a long year. But could it wind up with director or screenplay? Yeah, sure.
It's
But not best
entirely
picture.
possible. Well, if you got this many nominees, it could happen.
It's possible.
It could happen.
I think the closest we ever got to that was Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That's the closest we ever got to it. And this is as much of a seismic cultural shift of a movie, more so than Dark Knight for that matter. This is really sending tremors throughout the country right now, and hopefully the world.
Hell! Remember Silence of the Lambs was best picture. No one would have thought
And
that.
that's a horror film.
That's a
based
It's
I
a
know.
horror film.
Yeah.
No one thought that would have happened.
So
And I think they even made when they went up for the award, they actually said it. They said thanks for giving the horror best picture horror movie.
But the Academy's made a point to bring in a lot of younger people to actually vote. This is the thing about the younger people. They weren't voting and they weren't joining and they worked in
Right.
the business. They said get in and vote. So that's where you're getting a lot of diversity now.
Okay.
A lot of choices. A lot of options.
Okay. Normally I would take a break for the Rorschach test, but we've already done our breaks, so I'm going to roll right into it.
What?
We're gonna do a Rorschach test. And I'm
Alright,
gonna
go
give
ahead.
you a name of somebody that you all know, who
Elflander.
I guarantee you all will have an opinion about.
I
F.
can't do
Murray
the Rorschach
Abraham.
test because I just moved to Tennessee.
Yeah. He and Martin McDonough, they moved in
Yeah, I
together.
moved
And
to
I
Tennessee.
want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the name Jerry Lewis.
Can I use two? Wow. Well, there's a word I really want to use. Can I use
Family show.
Is this a family show?
You're up first.
Oh my God. Horses patoot.
Oh man, you must know something about him that I don't.
Why?
God.
Why? And keep yours in your head. Keep yours in your head. Yes.
Everything that I have read and seen about this man makes him completely obnoxious to me. Now, not to say that I haven't laughed here and there at a couple of Nutty Professor is what it is, man. I mean, there's moments in that are pretty amusing. but it doesn't excuse you from being an egotistical horse's patoot.
What exactly is a horse's patoot?
You can say ass. It's okay.
Can I say ass?
Yeah,
and then,
you can say ass.
And then take a break for a moment and say hole?
Yeah. You just said it.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
I think we just crossed it.
Hyphenated word.
Just cross the Rubicon.
And how can you,
Ass clown.
How can you
use
give
ass
a
clown.
pass to a man who decided it was a good idea to make a movie about a clown who entertains children before they go into the gas chamber?
Now, you haven't seen that yet. It could be a
And
brilliant
boy,
film.
do I want to.
You and a lot of other people.
I really want to see it, man.
It is now in the purview of the Library of Congress.
No,
And now that he has joined the choir Invisible, it's only a matter of time
It's
until
coming out.
we see
It's
it.
going to come out.
Horse's patoot.
It's gonna come out.
Ass. Hole.
Bo, what about you?
I don't hate Jerry Lewis. I don't really care about Jerry Lewis. I don't hate him.
Okay. First thing that came to your mind?
Martin and Lewis.
Martin Lewis. Okay.
That was it. Martin and Lewis. That was probably, that was a team that exists now. There's a whole bunch of comedy teams that do the same thing. This really suave
Penn and
guy.
Teller.
Yeah, it's a really suave guy and this geek.
Martin Lewis did magic? I didn't see. What did I?
Yes, they made your money disappear.
Oh, me.
But yeah, and then the whole telethon thing, that was.
I heard about some stuff about that one.
But yes, personally, he was not. Apparently, he was not a very nice guy.
No.
He was a jerk.
Well, you can watch interviews with him right up to about 6 months before he died,
Yes.
where he is putting on display very openly
There's
a
famous,
wonderful human being
There's
he
a
is.
famous one that made the rounds before he died.
Yeah. He's being interviewed by some
Young variety
kid,
interviewer.
some kid from some newspaper that somebody thought it'd be funny to send him out to interview Lewis.
That was wrong.
And Lewis just runs him through the ringer with a lot of one-word answers. And when he's not giving a one-word answer, he's telling him why he's an idiot.
Although apparently they said he did a bunch of nice things for people. He did do, he'd give people money, and he supported a lot of people who were down on their luck. A lot of comedians who weren't making a lot of money, Lewis was supporting them with money. So he was a jerk, but he wasn't that kind of a jerk.
I hear Al Capone gave milk to kids.
Hey, it's not that. Al Capone.
Al Capone make sure the kids had milk.
Al Capone is the guy who got expiration dates put on your milk.
And
So.
then kids would get the milk and dads would get the hookers. And,
It was a family store.
Rod?
Death of Old Hollywood.
That's what you think of?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You're running out of those guys.
He's one of there's not too many. I don't think there's any of them left. He was part of that old school Hollywood thing where you would watch and think that these guys were sort of like what they were characters was until you actually meet them. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't talked about until Bing Crosby's daughter put out a book. Yeah. And she started talking about, well, you guys like my father and stuff, but guess what he used to do behind the scene? He used to smack us in the head with wine bottles. And
how else you maintain discipline?
No, and I'm reading, and this is right at the time I got into watching TCM, and they would show all these old things. I'll go, okay, this guy wasn't like that. Then you go back and go read, go, oh, he's much worse than that.
Oh yeah, Wes Crosby was quite the. I was almost going to swear again.
Horses patoot?
Yeah,
SOB. I was going to say.
There's
a story. If you watch TCM, you're aware of the road movies that him and Crosby did together. They did about Bob Hope and Bing Crosby did them together. They did about 7 or 8 of them, and then in 1965 they decided to do another one, The Road to Hong Kong. And it was about 12, 14 years after they had done the previous one. Dorothy Lamour was the mainstay in all the road movies. Right. If for you old movie fans.
Right.
When it came to 1965 to make Road to Hong Kong, they wanted to bring Dorothy Lamour back into the picture. Bing Crosby said,
she's
she's too old.
Yeah.
Crosby was 8 years older than Dorothy Lamour.
Yeah.
So they brought in Joan Collins, which...
Okay, you know, that meant...
That's okay.
They all had a good time.
She got killed with Kirk right after that.
But that's what Jerry Lewis to me represent, that old school Hollywood that basically passed away until they kicked his butt out and he started just basically being like she said, a horse's patoot. I mean,
he was always a horse's patoot.
Now I've heard the stories about the telethon and stuff, and there's a recording of Brando sitting at a table, and he looks over there, and Jerry Lewis comes in there. He said, "You see this guy right here? God, I can't stand this son of a blank.
Son of a something.
He goes, this guy right here is the total epitome of what it is to be a thespian in the arts and stuff. Watch what he does to those little kids over there in the corner. And all of a sudden the press comes in. Your agent calls and says, you're going to be at such and such restaurant. So you call the press to come and meet you there for a photo op. Well, Jerry's over there, and there's the kid standing in the corner that comes out there, and they, on cue, comes out to talk to Jerry. Jerry rips the kids up to shreds over there, and Brandon looks up and says, if I wasn't sitting down there eating this delicious whatchamacallit, I'll go over there and kick him in the nuts right this very minute. And I'm cracking up listening to this, because I was onto an anti-Brando thing at the time, and I'm going, oh, I'm starting to love Brando now, and that sort of shifted away from Lewis. And every time Lewis telethon was going, I would sit up there and just see the look on his face where he starts singing and stuff. It was 2 shades worse than what Lou Rawls was doing. Lou Rawls was doing because Lou Rawls needed a check. Lou Rawls needed a check. That's the difference between
all
Lou
those people. Probably
Lou Rawls had his own telephone.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Lou Rawls needed a check at the time, so he basically did. Lewis wasn't poor when he was doing that.
No,
Chad Everett was.
Chad Everett.
There was a point there. Jerry had his own theater chain. Remember?
Yeah,
that?
Yes.
Jerry Lewis Theaters.
Yes,
I remember.
Yes,
I remember there was an episode of the Tonight Show where he shows up on the Tonight Show to unveil the Jerry Lewis Theaters.
The logo was quite
Johnny and him leave the desk and go off onto the floor. Okay, and then they got a little model there of the actual theater. And Lewis, is talking up how great the theater is, and you take the top off of the theater, and inside it's seats and a screen, and it's a little diorama of the theater, and you got Johnny Carson sitting there. He goes, "What a little cracker box this is gonna be! You really put your money into this? Good luck!" Give him a thumbs up. Okay, well, this is a total waste of time. Man, you're gonna lose your shirt on this thing.
And he did.
And then he starts up with, "So you're just gonna play your films, right? All you want to invest in this thing, really do." And this is like around 1970, I think, or 71.
Yeah.
This is Carson going, yeah.
It was all family fare. Everything that was played there was all family.
Well, yeah, and that was what Lewis was promoting. It would be at his movies, but also family movies. Yeah. Family movies, shit nobody goes see.
Gus, the field goal kicking mule.
Yes, well, a lot of Disney stuff.
Every Disney film ever made.
I just remember the fact that when when Eddie Murphy started doing Nutty Professor, they started making boatloads of money. Lewis goes in there and starts saying, "You know what? Back in my day, we never got a laugh off of a fart joke. We had it was about timing. It was about comedy. It was about setting the scene. What is this?
Yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy who lights a cigarette with a 3-foot-tall flame.
Yeah, right. This is the guy doing prep.
Yeah, we don't do fart jokes. Yeah.
I think the whole bitterness of him when Martin passed away, people still talking about Dean Martin as like the guy Dean Martin, and they said, "Oh, Lewis, who? Lewis? Yeah,
because
he did so
Dean Martin was cool. Yeah. Jerry was the nerd."
Okay, and that's going to wrap it up for today. We all love Jerry Lewis immensely. He actually died about a year ago. I think. I'm not sure. It was first quarter of last year that he passed away. So, God bless him.
He'll be in the Oscar montage?
Oh, yeah, he probably would be.
Could be in the Oscar montage.
Yeah, he was in the. They showed him on the Grammy montage. Comedy albums.
Really?
Yeah.
He'll probably be in the Dead People montage.
Dead Jim.
Yeah, right up there with John Hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. John Hurt too.
That's a great comparison. Jerry Lewis and John Hurt.
Okay, but that's it. We're done with Finisher out of here. We've got no more time for the Oscars or Jerry Lewis or anything else. But go to the store's website at myalternatereality.com. You can read all of JR's reviews and all of Bo's news and all of Vito Carli's stuff, which usually movie reviews of some sort that Vito sends in. And you can see all of those at myalternatereality.com. And be sure to stop off at the store, Alternate Reality, located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all of your new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. Until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
And it's JR.
Red Flash.
And Stephen Boyd. Say goodbye.
Yeah, Stephen Boyd.
Hey, lady.
saying game called on account of Oscar. Another great line from the Oscar. Until then, bye! Thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please like and share it with all your friends. We value your feedback, so drop us a question, comment, show idea, or complaint either at arcomics@msn.com or, if provided, in the comments section down below on this platform. The opinions expressed in this episode are solely those of the individuals and not necessarily those of Alternate Reality Incorporated. This show is, as always, coming to you from the Alternate Reality Comic Shop, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, serving Chicago comics fandom since 1994.